There needs to be a little maintenance work on these things.
The equipment is just as...
The equipment is as old as we are.
You beat him to
And
it.
it operates just the same way.
And a little bit saggy, right?
Yeah. Are there any questions?
Well, I think we probably need to wait to begin
Yeah, for the bingo.
till the bingo gets out. Okay.
I spent 2 years in learning to talk
Uh-huh.
in a club, you know?
Oh,
And it just didn't take.
with the Toastmasters?
Yeah,
Was
Toastmasters Club, 2 years.
I was in that for a year or so also.
It was mostly lawyers.
Well, no wonder. So are you nervous?
No.
I am. Uh-huh. You know, I don't usually do this. I'm not a good interviewer.
You know how to wing it, Bob.
I know how to wing it. And the last person I interviewed, somebody watching it said, "You talk too much. You should have let them talk."
Well, pay attention. Make
Yep.
sure it's not happening again.
Yeah.
Joy does the talking for me. I'm always quiet, and she does the talking.
That's why she wanted me to interview you. Because she's so shy. Right?
Right.
Right, Joy?
Shy and,
Okay.
Where's mine? Oh, I gotta go. What?
Can that woman way back in the corner, can you hear us? That's amazing.
Who's way in the corner?
Florence.
Florence is in the corner. You can hear us okay?
That's amazing.
So I think we're doing okay. That mic is picking you up pretty well, and you can hear me okay too. Yes? Okay.
And he should whistle, Father. I call him.
Would you like him to whistle, Joy?
Whistle a merry
He
tune.
would always whistle. He comes to our exercise class, he'd be whistling.
While walking through the
When
park
he didn't
one day.
whistle, when Joy hurt his shoulder. No music then.
Well, I have to tell a little story on the two of them. This is off the record. I hope you don't mind. But there was one day that I was walking down the hall, and Joy was walking about 10 feet ahead of Grant. And Grant was, I don't know if he was whistling or singing. And I said, "Hey, that's good, Grant. You're serenading your lady love." And when I got up to Joy, she says, "Don't encourage him."
and that's probably what I said.
It was exactly what you said.
He never forgot it.
Don't encourage him. But we're glad that you stay encouraged. And as soon as
With this new day, we're not going to be competing with bingo, are we?
I don't know, are we?
Well,
Christina,
Thursday,
are we going to
compete
be?
with bingo?
Bingo's over, they play every.
Bingo's over with, okay.
Bingo's over.
Bingo's over, okay.
Bingo's over.
Okay.
Well, I'm grateful for this new...
Coverall, so that's even better.
Good. Well, I'm grateful for this new day because I'm not able to make it on Thursdays. Usually I'm away on Thursday. So, okay, Grant, there's another guy in the audience, finally. Oh, two more also. But they're relatives and they don't count.
Oh.
Oh.
I feel like this is a captive audience.
A captive audience?
Yeah.
Well, you are going to captivate them with your eloquence and words of wisdom. So, when should we begin, Christina?
Katie's on Halloween. I saw her son, he's coming.
Let me check. I'm planning to stay with the schedule.
Oh, okay,
So I'll
okay.
tell her we're starting.
You're supposed to start at 2:30.
One of these days, each one of these people will be sitting up
I
here.
agree with you.
That's right.
Start on schedule. Go.
Now, I'm going to be sitting here being interviewed too at some point. Who wants to interview me? Okay. You've got it all, the wheels are turning, right?
They're getting started.
They're getting started, okay. Well, should we begin?
Yes.
Okay, well, welcome to everybody, and I think everybody knows Grant Moyer. And so we are going to get to know him today a little bit better. And there is one thing that I would like to start out with, and that will lead into Grant having something to say. But Grant is somewhat unusual in that he shares something in common with Jesus. Grant was born on December 25th in Bethlehem.
Oh.
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Right?
That's correct.
Yeah. And that gives rise to
The
another...
Christmas city.
Right, the Christmas city. And that gives rise to another question. What was it like growing up with everybody doing double duty in the presents that they gave you?
Oh, I'd get 2 presents.
So-
One for my birthday and one for Christmas. It was wonderful.
So a pair of shoes, one shoe for Christmas and the other shoe for your birthday.
My sister was born on the 4th of July, and she was not nearly as fortunate.
Oh, okay. So actually it doubled your presents rather than cut them in half. Oh, that's good. Tell us a little bit about your growing up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. You were
I was
born in 1924. That means your birthday is coming up as being 94 years old. Is my math correct?
that's close enough.
Close enough. Who's counting? So tell us a little bit of what would you like to share with us about growing up? Well, just about your growing up, your young years.
My mother thought I had great potential. She thought I would become a lawyer or some sort of a successful businessman.
Uh-huh.
And none of those things happened.
Well, how did you feel about it when your mother kept telling you, you should be a lawyer?
She just couldn't believe I didn't have any interest in the law.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then you grew up, you went to high school,
Yeah.
you went to college.
Yeah, I
Lehigh.
went to Lehigh University here, right there in Bethlehem.
And then you met somebody who changed your life.
Yeah, I can't think of her name, but it's 3 letters. It's Joy. And
How appropriate for Christmas, joy to the world.
she does all the talking, and I just sit back and listen.
Not today. Not today. She's sitting back and listening, and you're doing the talking. So you met her, you got married. There is a wedding picture.
Yeah, take a look at those photos. I'm shocked at them. I'm really surprised that that's me.
And we'll get those photos on the film at the very end of it too. But so how did you meet Joy?
He was a nice looking man, actually.
I think we were introduced through my sister's babysitter. They said that it was the Seifert family said, here's this guy who just got out of the Navy, and he doesn't know any girls, and he might be a good guy to go with. And so she introduced us. And that was, I can't even remember what year it was.
Was it love at first sight, or did you have to pursue her, or did she have to pursue
Well,
you?
it was off and on that went for a little while, and then we broke off, and there was a couple months went by, and then we got back together again.
Okay. And after you married, did you stay there in Pennsylvania?
We did a lot of traveling. We, especially with our RV, and we crossed the United States 6 times, and we often had our grandchildren along, like Jake was one of our grandkids, and they enjoyed the trip just as much as we did.
Okay, so that's throughout your whole life. Now, what about after you and Joy got married? I believe you said something about Texas came in there, didn't it?
And we, I worked in Texas on the seismic crew, and I did, from the seismic crew, I decided to go back to school, and I went to the University of Texas and got my master's degree in petroleum exploration.
Petroleum exploration. Okay. And did you enjoy Texas?
Did I?
Did you enjoy life in Texas?
It was okay. With the oil company, with the Ohio Oil, I was responsible for a dry hole in Corpus Christi Bay. And my daughter, Katie, was born in Corpus Christi.
And there she is.
There she is.
Corpus Christi, Katie.
Dr. Catherine DeMercier.
Okay. And so you...
So we also were in the oil business in Calgary, Alberta for 10 years.
You were there for much longer.
And then my son Roy was born in Calgary, so he has Canadian citizenship.
Okay.
Grant, the firstborn, was born in Pennsylvania.
Okay, so your 3 were born in
Yeah. That's
vastly different
very
places.
interesting when we go through customs to have this diverse birthplace.
Okay. Well, I hope you don't get separated at the border. But if I remember rightly, you and Joy really did enjoy Canada. Enjoyed living in Calgary.
Yeah, we did.
And,
The hunting and the fishing were fantastic.
So you're quite a sportsman.
Yeah.
You like hunting and fishing.
So with the Ohio Oil Company, I had two dry holes in Canada to my credit. And I also,
They don't like that very much, do they?
No.
No.
I would also sat on a well in the Northwest Territories, just north of the province of Alberta.
And then you moved to Vermont.
Yeah. I
And
quit the oil business, moved to Vermont, and built a motel in the Mount Snow ski area.
in Wilmington, right?
Now,
Where was it in Vermont? The name of the city in Vermont?
Wilmington, Vermont.
Wilmington, Vermont,
We
okay.
lived there for 34 years.
And that motel still exists.
Yeah.
It was called the,
More attractive than ever.
yeah. There is a website for the motel, and it's they still seem to be doing good business. But and that was in the middle of kind of a sports paradise in Vermont also,
Yeah,
where you had a lot of snow sports.
But it was just limited to deer. Whereas in Alberta, there was moose, elk, and deer, moose, elk, deer, and a lot of big game, and a lot of lot of pheasants,
Uh-huh.
ducks and geese,
Yeah,
just phenomenal wild creatures.
yeah. Sounds like a little piece of your heart is still left in Calgary.
I'd love to go back. I haven't been back since we left.
Oh, my goodness.
Went down to Texas to get back with our children.
Uh-huh. And in Wilmington, Vermont, what did you do there? You built a motel,
Yeah.
but then you, but then you delegated the management of the motel to Joy, right?
We had 3 different managers,
Ah,
and I taught school, taught chemistry and physics and math.
uh-huh. And I understand you also did some social work.
What is it?
Social work with the government?
Oh, yeah,
helping
I was-
people?
Yeah, I got the nickname Welfare Grant.
Welfare grant. So this is the original welfare grant. So now we know where the name comes from.
How did you get that name, Dad? I never heard that one.
Yeah, how did you get that name, welfare grant? What?
There was a smart Alex working in the office,
Okay.
nicknamed me Welfare Grant.
Is
But
that
you-
the census? Was that when you worked at the census?
That's because I handled welfare cases.
Ah.
Okay.
There's the lawyer, Grant.
What about the lawyer?
Well, I just discovered that this very minute. His mother thought he should be a lawyer. Well, he was working
So
on
he-
his papers.
He worked. His mother thought he should be a lawyer, and he was working on cases for the people in need. Um,
And
okay.
determine whether they'd get welfare or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any stories coming out of either the motel or your work on your work as welfare grant?
One of the scariest days in the motel business was when I went up to the pool one morning. There was a corpse in the pool.
A corpse in the pool.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I fished him. It turned out he'd been dumped there. He was a guest of the motel. He'd been dumped there by the mafia.
Uh-huh.
And the crime was never solved.
Uh-huh. As I guess many mafia crimes are not solved, unfortunately.
Suspicious circumstances.
Oh my. That was a memorable day. Does your whole family remember that day?
Nobody who didn't get welfare.
I tried to keep Joy from going up to the pool.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of scary.
Yeah, that would be kind of scary. Did you have any famous guests come to visit?
Not particularly.
No?
They didn't identify themselves.
Oh, okay. You just catered to the ordinary people who
Yeah,
came
they
to have a
most
good
of our
time.
guests were from New York City
Uh-huh, okay.
and Boston.
Uh-huh. Hey, you were
It was quite competitive.
Okay. Yeah, so,
Oh, and Joy was elected president of the Chamber of Commerce of Wilmington for 5 years.
very good.
Yeah,
So Joy put Wilmington on the map.
yeah.
Good.
Fantastic.
Any other stories about Wilmington? You were 10 years in Calgary,
Yeah.
and then how long in Wilmington?
34.
34 years. Okay. And you had the motel the whole time.
Right, and I taught school
And you
for
taught
7
school.
years.
All right. Any good stories out of school?
Yeah. Not particularly.
Oh, okay.
It's a rural area. They're farmers' kids.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I was able to raise a nice vegetable garden in the backyard.
Good. And so your family enjoyed the vegetable garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about a story of falling through the ice when you were skating?
Falling through the ice when you were skating.
Yeah.
Is there a story about that?
I don't remember. Tell us about it.
Moving right along then.
What did he say?
Moving right along. Okay.
I'm going to tell the story.
All right. Going to tell a story about falling through the ice.
He went out,
Hold on.
Okay, wait just a moment. I'm going
I'll
to...
get to the mic.
I didn't expect this notoriety.
Well, you're going to get it because you're going to tell the story.
Okay.
Tell the story about falling through the ice.
He came home one morning. Note I say came home. He had been out skating, but he didn't bother to tell me he was out skating. He went on this, what do you call it?
Deerfield Creek.
Deerfield Creek. And he came in and his feet were wet and his trousers were wet. And I was horrified. I said, "Where have you been?" He said, "I went out skating and I fell in." I said, "You could have gone underwater and drowned and I wouldn't even know where you were." And he said, "Yeah." And that was it, went in and changed his clothes. So that's why he doesn't have a lot of stories to tell. He would not create the stories.
Yes, I see. Okay. Thank you. So you were 30 years in Wilmington, Vermont, and then you retired, right?
To Texas.
Then you
to be back with our kids.
You retired back to Texas.
Yeah.
To Texas. Okay.
To Nazareth house.
Dr. Katie says that you retired to California, to Nazareth House. How long have you been in Nazareth House?
2 years.
2 years.
5 years.
3.
5 years. 3 years. 4. Okay.
Spring of 2014.
Time flies.
3 going once, going twice. So time flies when you're having fun. And so now you enjoy being out here with your kids. And they enjoy being out here with them, right? You've had
But
something...
we've sold our car and we depend on the kids for transportation.
Well, that's good. And they come through.
Constantly.
Constantly.
It's quite an imposition.
Wonderful. Well, I'm very glad that you are so devoted and dedicated to them, and they are to you and Joy. And it is really such a joy to have you here.
We also depend on our daughter for medical help, since she is a physician.
Okay, that's good to keep it in the family.
So what did your mom think about you moving away from Bethlehem after you graduated from Lehigh?
Okay, what did your mom think about your moving away from Bethlehem after you graduated?
She said, my mother is like a Pennsylvania Dutch farm family.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, we're just a bunch of gypsies wandering all over the country.
Did you bring your fiddle? Okay. One of the things that impressed me when you were telling your story religiously, you were from a Lutheran family, Pennsylvania Dutch
Yeah,
Lutheran, in a Moravian community,
yeah.
Bethlehem. And you married in the Episcopal Church to this fine Episcopalian lass, Joy. And you basically were church-going Episcopalians for most of your life, and you're ending up here in a Catholic Nazareth house. You also started in Bethlehem, and here you are in Nazareth. That's another similarity with Jesus. But you have plans to end up in Bethlehem.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Back to the Moravian cemetery.
Back to the Moravian cemetery. You have a plot there. Huh?
Dad had a paper route on Nazareth Pike.
Nazareth
Bethlehem,
Pike.
Pennsylvania.
Boy, you just can't get away from this
I know.
biblical stuff. Wow. Okay, so we've started in Bethlehem, come to Nazareth, going to end finally in Bethlehem. Anything else you'd like to share with us, or any further questions? Okay,
Dad, did you talk about trout fishing and tying your own flies?
tying your own flies and trout fishing. Okay, tell us about that.
What's that?
There's an art to tying flies, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, that's.
Tell us about the
they're
art of
trout flies.
trout flies.
Yeah, and I caught a 27-inch brown trout on a panwing Adams that I had tied myself.
Yeah.
You were better at attracting trout than you were at finding oil, right?
I tried both concepts. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my. So is there a special technique to tying flies properly for
Just
for trout?
practice.
Just practice. Practice makes perfect. Did you get good enough at tying flies that maybe you did it for other people and sold them?
Yeah.
You sold them? All right.
He never sold a tie flying.
Oh, okay, well, okay, we have a little contradiction here. Anything else? Anything else?
What about,
I'm trying to compare Navy food that I had in the Navy with the food here at Nazareth House.
Okay, well, how does the food here at Nazareth House
Well,
compare?
I find, I'm not crazy about the food here, but it's quite superior to what I got in the Navy.
There you have it.
All right, well, that's good to know. Fina will be very happy to hear that. Yeah.
Also, the service is much better here.
I'm sure the waitresses are a lot cuter
Yeah.
here than they were in the Navy, right?
Are there any stories from the Navy?
Stories from the Navy.
Pardon me?
Stories from the Navy.
Yeah.
Any stories from the Navy?
We were, my grandson has joined the Merchant Marine. And I was telling him how I was on this destroyer, the Hobby, and we were coming into port in Virginia, and so we had a pilot to guide the ship in to the harbor, and we came around the bend, and this current took over and beached the destroyer on the bank. So there was an investigation about that, and I don't know what the solution was of the hearing, but
But it wasn't your fault.
no, it was the pilot, and now our grandson is becoming a merchant marine pilot.
Okay, well,
So I told him to
let that be a lesson.
watch out.
Watch out for those banks.
Be a good judge of that current.
Yeah. What is your hat here? It says USTS General Rudder,
And
ATM Galveston. What is that?
That's Texas A&M. He gave that to me for my birthday. And he's going to be a pilot.
Mhm.
That's the ship, a training
couple of
vessel.
weeks,
A
he's
training vessel,
Going to get
okay.
his commission.
Okay, ah, good. Very good.
That's Perry Tucker Moyer.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, fantastic. Yeah.
I have a great admiration for you, Grant, because of your whistling. I have tried all my life to whistle like that. And I can't even get out a squeak. How do you do it? What is your secret?
We need a demonstration here.
Yes.
Practice.
We have a
Can
demonstration.
we have a demonstration?
How about whistle a happy tune?
I don't know that.
You don't?
Um,
Oh, okay.
I'm too tense to whistle.
Yeah, you do have to be relaxed. And,
And
okay.
all different kinds of whistling.
Ah. There we go.
How about a moose call?
Yeah.
You need your device, huh? Can you call the deer, Pop?
Can you call the deer or the moose?
Yeah.
Can you call them?
No.
Oh.
How about a duck?
How about a duck?
Quack, quack, quack.
Should we?
Caw, caw, caw.
My dad had all these devices. He would try
Just-
anything, any bit of technology that could help
That's
him
my-
get the edge.
My son Grant, I just have to call him for dinner.
Ah, okay. What was your Grant Jr. call? How did you call him for dinner?
With a horn.
Just get in here, kid.
Oh, okay.
It was the cow,
My,
the horn.
my father
Oh, sorry.
only completed the 3rd grade.
Uh-huh.
So my mother's so proud of me getting a bachelor's from Lehigh and a master's from the University of Texas in petroleum geology.
Uh-huh.
She's satisfied that I didn't become a lawyer.
Uh-huh. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Joy, you have the microphone.
I forget why.
All right.
What?
Oh, the bullhorn. Bullhorn.
The
Oh,
bullhorn.
the horn, a steer's horn. And I would go out on the porch when we bought our home in Calgary.
Yeah.
They were building up a whole section of homes.
Yeah.
And so I would go out at dinner time and blow that horn. You can make that noise, I'm not gonna. But the
That was a
kids
cow's,
would come running.
a cow's horn.
Yeah, and our children had come running, and one of the builders later told me that he got such a kick out of dinner time when I would blow this horn, and they would make bets out of which way the kids would be coming from. It was fun.
Okay, well, we'll have to have more of that when we interview you.
Oh, me. My.
I was quite active in the Calgary Sportsman's Club.
Uh-huh.
And we helped set up the first sportsman show in the Jubilee Auditorium. And Joy and I laid out all the booths for the businesses. And we had a speakers and all that. And this has become an institution for the club to have an annual sportsman show.
An annual sportsman show in the Jubilee Auditorium.
Yeah.
And that was when it was just first built, right?
Yeah.
You inaugurated,
That's
your
right.
sportsman show inaugurated the Jubilee Auditorium. I looked it up online, and the Jubilee Auditorium is still going strong, and they have concerts and shows, and they're having the Nutcracker this year, and all kinds of interesting things still happening up in Calgary.
Our main speaker was one of those, a guide, a Calgary guide who took sportsmen up into the park.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And we had some excellent fishing in Yellowstone Park.
Mm-hmm.
And Joy was worried about Grant wandering or having the bears take her out of the kidnapping from the tent in Yellowstone Park.
She was worried about Grant Sr. or Grant Jr.?
Grant Jr., yeah.
I used to sleep with kids on each side holding them. So if the bear took one, they'd get us all.
Ah, okay.
So I'll learn
Okay.
secret.
They were having bear trouble at the time.
Uh-huh. A bear feast, that would have been. Okay, anything else? We've been going about a half hour now, a little bit more. So, okay.
I guess the only other thing would be my dad was a ballet dancer and a figure skater. and
What's she
skier.
asking?
She says you were a ballet dancer and a figure skater. I guess that's one reason why you landed in the cold water, perhaps. But, so any stories about your ballet career?
The girls I did ballet with complained that I was rather clumsy and I would hurt them.
Okay. So your ballet career was not the most successful
That's right.
one either.
They
Okay.
It was
needed
just
someone
a
to handle
temporary
the
thing.
jumps.
Oh, okay. Oh my. Okay.
But Katie came quite good in ballet with
Oh.
Madame Valda.
Uh-huh. So,
Dad played ice hockey in figure skates because he didn't have regular hockey skates.
mm-hmm.
So at work, like in Canada, hockey, people live for hockey.
Yeah.
And Dad got out there and was playing hockey, but he didn't have regular skates, he had figure skates. But he's not a sissy.
Yeah, well, that's good. I know there is a difference between those two types of skates. I used to ice skate a little bit myself, but it was figure, not. Okay. Any parting words of wisdom for us as you approach your birthday? No parting words of
All I
wisdom.
can say is my birthday coming up is I really look forward to it.
Okay. Well, we are too. And we'll be celebrating dual purpose. That'll be a great reason for a party.
And I want to thank all these people for coming and listening to this.
Well, I think we all enjoyed it too. Let's give Brand a hand. All right. Good. Sister Jean Marie wants to ask a closing question.
I want to know, you and Joy have been so beautifully, happily married so long. Is the secret is you just do what she says?
What's the question?
That's the secret.
Yes. Sister dear, come up and ask him. Come up and ask him on camera yourself.
What's the secret to 72 years of marriage, Bob?
What's the secret to 72 years of successful years of marriage, right? Happy
Well,
years of marriage.
Fairly.
Well, successful, they're still married.
I think Joy talked me into it.
There was an eye roll that did not get on the camera.
I'm not even going to bother with that one.
All right. Well, now that we've had the parting shot from Sister Jean Marie, thank you again. and the
Come up and look at the pictures.
Come up and look at the pictures. Okay, and here are the pictures. There he was in the Navy in his early 20s.
Oh, here's his, I found this stuff. There's his
Oh, his
baptism.
baptismal certificate.
Goodness.
My family saves things.
I guess so.
1925. Well, of course,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it must have been right after Christmas.
December 25th, 19.
24, that's when he was born.
1924, yeah.
Wow.
And baptized on February 8th. All right. And here we've got okay. Here's a little supplement from Grant Jr. Yes.
Well, when we moved to Vermont, Dad somehow found out that they needed a new weatherman for the U.S. Weather Bureau. And so Dad volunteered his services, and they built a weather station at the motel. And for 15 years, my father would get up at 6 in the morning and 6 at night, 15 years, and do a complete takeoff on amount of precipitation, the humidity, the type of cloud cover, and then transmit it to Albany, where they gathered all of the station information to do weather forecasts. So that was one of the things that he did in Vermont, kind of like a hobby, but when you think about it, that's a long time
Yeah.
keeping a routine up.
Yeah.
NOAA, National
Here it is. Here it is with his weather station. NOAA, National Organization of what was that?
NOAA, National
Organization.
Oceanography.
Atmospheric, whatever. Okay.
You don't know who's in the background? The beard?
He doesn't look it different. I wasn't even sure. Oh, we've all got that jaw, though. You know, we all got that jaw. Well, not Roy so much.
Yeah.
I don't
Who are
know.
these?
This is, that's my dad, and that's Grant right there.
Okay.
Is my older brother, and that's my younger brother, Roy. And this is my wedding to my husband, and they all dressed up just like Dad.
Just like-
And I wore Mom's dress.
Oh my goodness.
So
There's a picture of you with your mom's dress.
I didn't bring that one.
Tuition,
There's another interview going on here.
$105 a quarter.
Wow.
Imagine